What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Humble Warrior checking in with you again. I'm back with another video. I was just watching Undisputed. They were doing a live take on the Bears trading the Bears trading their #1 overall pick to Carolina for the rights to DJ Moore, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a 5th. And they were just Skip and Shannon were just debating about Bryce Young, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson. They were basically saying that the hit and miss factor would be with Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, and that Bryce Young is basically going to translate pretty well to the NFL. As an Alabama fan, I'm here to tell you, like, very few quarterbacks transition very well from our school to the pros. We have a lot more misses than hits. The two standouts are, of course, Jalen and Tua, who both are going on their 4th year. The only knock on Tua is his health. Other than that, his production has shown that he can actually play at the next level. Jalen Hurts is, for the most part, stayed healthy except this past season when he hurt, his shoulder. But it's not about them; it's about Bryce. So with that being said, they're basically saying that he's projected to go #1 overall to Carolina, and then the same breath Shannon says, but Carolina's still gonna be a bad team. So what you're saying is Bryce Young's not really gonna be the substantial answer to get them to the playoffs. If he's not, then why you draft him #1 overall? And then you just took away his best receiver to bring him to Carolina to throw to who? I mean, Rodney Anderson. I mean, a bunch of has-been receivers and stuff like that. Now the defense gonna do its job. The defense gonna sustain and cause turnovers and get the ball back to the offense. But if Bryce Young has the same receivers he had at Alabama his last season, I don't see how much more you expect him to be doing. Maybe he'll put up 3,000 yards, of course, and a couple of touchdowns. But the hits he'll take, depending on how he gets, depending on how his body responds to it, will he get injured for the season? Will he be seriously hurt? Will this happen? Will he maintain health to play all 17 games? These are questions that remain to be seen. It's a lot of variables. OTAs, training camps. Will he accidentally tear some of his knee? Not wishing nothing on the kid at all, because the kid is fantastic. But to project that Will Levitt and Anthony Richardson are going to be basically bust, that's unfair. Yes, they play in the SEC where they didn't show much potential. However, there's a lot of quarterbacks that came from college that showed marginal to little production in college or potential in college to go on and have productive pro careers. So that notion or that stereotype is not, it's not right. The only substantial bust was Baker Mayfield. Tim Tebow was one. Of course, Johnny Manziel. But people, I think that Shannon and Skip are over evaluating Bryce Young because of what he did at Alabama. Granted, his freshman year he had some good receivers. His sophomore year he had Jameis Williamson and John Mechie before they got hurt. And then his junior campaign, he didn't have the best receivers. He had Brooks, he had Burton, and he had Latu, and a bunch of collective players that anywhere else probably wouldn't have been seeing as much playing time. But nonetheless, it happens. You too. So with that being said, you're over evaluating Bryce Young based off the potential that he has in the league. Who's to say that he doesn't formulate, or who's to say he doesn't produce very well in the league to become the next big thing in the league? Now he has an arm. I mean, he's shown he could throw it, but Tua showed the same thing in college. Yet I just saw a segment where Skip continues to berate and downgrade Tua's arm and the way he can play and stuff like that in the league, to say, oh, it's about his injuries and it's about his health, his arm strength. why is that still a question? Like, his health, yes, everybody wants to see him stay healthy. That's not even a question. But his arm strength, I mean, he got Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill put up 1,700 yards. And I know at least once or twice in a game, he was going deep to Tyreek, hitting him as well. Now, it was only like one pass that I remember against Detroit where the ball like hung in the air and he went up and got it. Outside of that, the rest of them passes, he was at least on the other side of 40 when he hit Tyreek on the 10-yard line. That requires arm strength, does not. So this continuing notion that Skip putting out don't even make no sense anymore. You're basically punishing Tua for being small, just like Bryce, and being a lefty. And because he got hurt, or as Shannon said, he limped his way into the pros, and now he's hurt again in the pros. Yeah, well, Shannon, his rookie year, he had the worst offensive line in the NFL. His sophomore campaign still had a real crappy NFL line, and because of that, he got injured in week 3 off a blindside tackle. But nobody talks about that. All they say is he hurt his ribs. How? He didn't hit himself in the side with a hammer. He got hit from his blind side and never saw the dude coming. But that's his fault, right? Because his blocker whiffed on a block and the dude came from the blind side and knocked him out. Then this past season, 2 concussions. And the entire league was put on notice because of the concussions. But this is not about Tua. This is about Bryce. We don't know what he's going to do. We have no idea. We're just trying to come with our opinions like Shannon and Skip get paid to do. And they're projecting, you know, him to put up numbers throughout his first 3 or 4 years in Carolina, if that's what he ends up getting drafted to. Now, I'll say this, without much talent, there's not a lot he can do, and that's going to be proven. I mean, it's only one guy in history that did less with more, and that was Tom Brady. But as you saw, as he got older, he needed more, and he did less, quoted by Shannon Sharp himself. So with that being said, let's not go out on a limb and just act like Bryce is going to be the next hottest thing in the world. We got to give the kid a chance to, first of all, get drafted by whoever going to draft him. And then give him a chance to get out there week 1 through 17 and show what he can do. As long as he remains healthy, we'll see exactly what he can do on that team. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs or nothing like that. That will be icing on the cake for him. But let's see what his production looks like. Let's see how he goes through his reads. Let's see how he goes through his progressions. Let's see how he handles the actual speed of the NFL, because it's a whole lot different than college. And he'll find that out week 1 when he's out there against top-tier first-team defenses, and he has to show what he can do as the number 1 overall pick or the 2nd overall pick, whichever line he falls into. He has to show immediately he can make an impact. So let's let him do that first. That's all I had to say about that, because I got, you know, I found that interesting that they just continue to kind of prop Bryce up. He's like the only Alabama quarterback outside of Jalen Hurts that Skip loves to brag about. And it's like, bro, Alabama actually had the most productive quarterback that came through there in Tua, but he gets no credit for that. But Bryce Young and Jalen and everybody else get recognized, and Tua's like the black sheep. I find that funny. But that's my time, guys. I got to go get his food to the babies and stuff like that. But let me know what you think, man. Peace.